Hello and greetings today. So, I'm just exhausted. I don't know why I'm so exhausted, but I am. This story time is going to be about co-workers. Co-workers that I've worked with on jobs. This one co-worker in particular was 22 years old. Just had a very stupid way of thinking and just expected her ass to be kissed all the time, and I don't understand why. So this situation took place at the daycare that I was working at for about 3 years. 2 to 3 years. This is the same daycare where I said my daughter was attending this daycare also. I got mistreated at this, working at this daycare, and my daughter got mistreated at this daycare also by a teacher. Then they want to try and sugarcoat what they did to my daughter by taking a tray of food from her, but then gonna give it back to her because they were so afraid that I was going to quit that job, and I probably would have. Now, I don't understand why they kept trying me. Because if I showed them the first time around when I left that daycare and started working somewhere else, I would have showed them the second time around, which I did. So, I'm working in the baby room every day. This 22-year-old girl with her super stupid self was kind of like over me in the baby room, showing me what to do, and they're, asking me to sing to the kids. And this is what my problem with her was. She felt like just because her auntie worked there and her auntie was my supervisor, that she could just basically get away with what she wanted to get away with. Her and her auntie can both get fired. They can both get it. Wasn't nobody scared of her or her auntie. So it was just situations. I would come into work. Just because her auntie was my supervisor, she let the 22-year-old, which was her niece, go on lunch break every day before me. And then they had this thing where if I came to work late, they felt like I didn't need a lunch break. And greedy as I was back then, I wasn't going to stand for that. I was thinking about quitting a lot of times because they was just treating me any old kind of way. Then the 22-year-old girl lied on me and said one day that I forgot to feed somebody's kid because there was a 20-year-old female who worked in the baby room who would be getting pregnant every year. She had 3 kids that attended the daycare, and she was pregnant. and who I like personally named her Fat and Goofy because she was fat and she would just laugh at anything. Fat and Goofy. I didn't really like her either. But she told the girl, Fat and Goofy, that I didn't feed her daughter, which was a lie. So it was a big discussion had about that. And I said I wouldn't dare mistreat your kid and not feed your kid because I have a kid myself. And then, whenever me and a 22-year-old co-worker was outside watching the kids, sometime we would have a conversation. And then I was telling her how some of the older daycare teachers would talk crazy to me. And sometimes I wouldn't say anything back because I was always taught to give my elders their respect. And she would just go on and on telling me, oh, my auntie work here, so people know not to talk crazy to me because my auntie would tell them something. So another time, and this was just during a regular day at the daycare. The 22-year-old girl, she came in late for work. Now, this wouldn't have never happened if her auntie, who was my supervisor, got in trouble because the girl came in late to work. So because she came in late to work, her auntie, which was my supervisor, made her stay up front and watch all the bad kids. That's the schoolers. The kids who are 7 years old to 12 years old. And she didn't want to do that because she's always in the back, in the baby room with me. So she was mad. She's going to say she's not clocking in. She's not clocking in because this is not where she's supposed to be. She's supposed to be in the baby room with the babies. And just because she came in late, but fair is fair. I was treated worse than that whenever I would come in late to work. They took away my break time and told me that I couldn't have a break. Even though I was the only one, the only co-worker at that daycare who didn't have a ride, who didn't have a car, who didn't know how to drive, who didn't have anyone I could depend on to pay them gas money to take me to work. They knew I rode 3 buses. They knew that I would come late when it was raining, storming outside, all that. Freezing outside, come late to work. Also, no one cared. But they're going to tell me, oh, well, you came in late today, so you don't get to have a 30-minute break today. Somehow I knew that was wrong when they was treating me like that, but I just went along with it. But this 22-year-old co-worker that I had, this girl, I could not stand her. And then sometimes I would be trying to eat healthy Sometimes I would bring fruit salads to work. And she's asking, could she have some of my fruit? I let her have some, but then I really didn't want that girl saying anything to me because of how I felt on the inside about her. I felt like she was a 22-year-old spoiled brat who wanted her ass kissed, who wanted to have her way. And this is a job. This is a job. Whether her relative worked there or not, she should be treated the way that everybody else is treated. She should not get any special privileges just because she has a relative that worked there who is like up under the boss. But the auntie, the lady that was my supervisor, and a 22-year-old auntie, she got fired. She got fired. And after she got fired, her niece quit. So I didn't see the 22-year-old ugly face girl anymore. But yeah. That was just one of stupid, petty things that would happen at this unprofessional, dirty, super dirty daycare I was working at for 3 years. And I do not miss it. I'm about to end this video right now. Later on, I have a makeup tutorial that's coming up later on, maybe sometime tonight, until I post my next video. Until then, y'all stay blessed.